Okay, the first muscle manual test I'm going to do is the supraspinatus. It is a glenoid humeral. Actions are abducts the shoulder and stabilization of the humeral head. The nerve innervation is C4, C5, and C6. It originates off the supraspinous fossa and inserts on the greater tuberosal of the humerus. Some compensations to look at is posture, so like my patient's slouching. So I'm going to get him to abduct and then come in 30 degrees. I'm going to get him to laterally flex his head and tilt it. My stabilization arm is going to go right here, and my resistant arm is going to go right here. And we're going to do this for 3 to 5 seconds. So resist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So the next muscle I'm going to do is the coracoid brachialis. For the action, we flex and abducts the shoulder. Nerve innervation is from C6 to C7 and originates on the coracoid process and inserts on the medial shaft of the humerus. Compensation would be posture as well. And my stabilization arm is going to go on the glenoid humeral joint, and my resistant arm is going to go on his biceps brachii. Okay, so I'm going to get you to like your uppercut. All right, bring in medial, a little bit more. And then I'm going to put my stabilization arm right here and my resistant arm right here for 3 to 5 seconds and resist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So the next muscle I'm going to do is the latissimus dorsi. It is a glenoid humeral. Actions are it extends, abducts, and medially rotates the shoulder. The nerve innervations would be C6, C7, and C8. Originates off the supraspinous and the posterior iliac. Inserts on the intertuberosal groove of the humerus, and compensates would be hike of the shoulder. And my stabilization hand is going to go on the midline of the thorax, and my resistant arm is going to go on the distal portion of the forearm. So I'm going to get my patient to lift his arm up, and I'm going to put my stabilization arm right here, and I'm going to get him, and I'm going to resist this way for 3 to 5 seconds, and go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. The next muscle I'm going to do is a subscapularis. It's a glenoid humeral. Actions are medially rotates the shoulder and stabilizes the head of the humerus. Nerve innervation is the upper and lower subscapularis, which is C5, C6, and C7. Originates of the subscapular fossa. Also inserts on the lesser tuberosal of the humerus. Compensations are if my patient would hike up. Stabilization will go on the distal humerus, on the posterior distal humerus, and resistant arm will go on the forearm. So I'm going to get my patient to go into a 90 degrees, and then rotate up towards me, and then my stabilization arm is going to go right here, and then my resistant arm is going to go right here, and we're going to hold for 3, 2, 1, perfect. Next I'm going to do is the rhomboid major and minor. The actions are they abduct, elevate, and downward rotate the scapula. Nerve innervation will be the dorsal scapula of C4 and C5. And for origin, for the minor, they come off the spinous process from C7 to T1, and originate for major, they originate off the spinous process T2 to T5. They insert on the medial border of the scapula. Compensate would probably be the scapula hiking up as well, or lifting up. Stabilization, my stabilization arm would go on the scapula, and my resistance arm would go on his forearm. So I'm going to get my patient to abduct, tongue facing down, and my stabilization arm is going to go right on his scapula, and my stabilization arm is going to go on his scapula, and my resistant arm is going to go on his forearm. And we're going to do this for 3 to 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Next, I'm going to do the lower traps. It's a scapular-thoracic joint. Actions are it depresses, upwardly rotates the scapula. Nerve innervations will be the spinal portion of C2, C3, and C4. Originates off the spinous process of T6 to T12, and it also inserts on the spine of the scapula. Compensations would be if my patient was to hike up his traps, and stabilization would be on the scapula, and my resistant arm would also be on his forearm. So right now I'm going to get my patient to abduct, and he's going to go all the way out here, and my stabilization arm is going to go on the scapula. My resistant arm is going to go on his forearm. We're going to do this for 3 to 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Next, we're going to do the upper traps. It's a scapulothoracic. Actions are bilaterally extends, laterally flexes, it rotates, and upwardly rotates the scapula. It also elevates as well. Nerve innervation is the spinal portion of C2, C3, C4. It originates off the external occipital protubulance and inserts on the spine of the scapula. Compensation would be posture if my patient is slouching, and my stabilization arm is going to go on the side of his head, and my resistant arm is going to go on his shoulder. All right, so I'm going to get my patient to rotate, and then hike up your shoulder, and then my stabilization arm is going to go right here, and my resistant arm is going to go right here, and I'm going to do this for 35 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.